Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 225, and today we're playing Aurelion Soul Braum Ramp. And so the Ramp deck, this is something that I pulled out of the World's deck lists. It's far and away the best deck that was brought to the World's qualifiers. I'm having trouble digging it back up. I know that there's a spreadsheet out there that has all the qualified players along with all the deck lists that they brought. I can't find it again. I'm tired of looking for it. If you know where to find it, be sure to let me know and I'll post it back out there. But I know that a player in the APAC region brought this, and then they didn't make the top cut to make it into the final qualifications for Worlds. And so if you want to stop and think of like the great tragedies that have happened in the lands of Runeterra, the top 5 tragedies all time in Legends of Runeterra. Number 1, it was Legion Rearguard getting reduced to 1 health. Number 2 probably involves someone deciding it was a good idea to prevent Seraphine and Fan Club President. Rule number 3 would have been whenever that same dum-dum thought that it was okay to make Targon's Peak cost 6 mana instead of 5. And then now probably rounding out the top 5, this dude not just winning everything with this ramp deck. And so, tragedies abound, tragedies across the board. This is probably one of the great ones, this fine Runeterran player not making the top cut into Worlds. But nonetheless, this is a deck, it typically works in a very polarized fashion, right? What I suspect we're going to see coming out of these games, as we play something like Zoe Teemo Elusives, if we play against Red Gwen, some flavor of Pirates, we're just going to get smoked by those decks. They tend to have incredibly strong matchups against this. Back in the days of the 5-mana Targon's Peaks, what you used to find was that if you were, say, playing against Pirates, and you could play a ramp card and then play a turn 4 Targon's Peak and then turn 5 play something expensive, then you had a fair bit of game in the matchup. But if you weren't hitting those specific type of draws, then you typically just lost. And so it wasn't a really great deck to take to the ladder, but you could look to have a lot of success in best of 3 in the sense that you could just ban Pirates. You may run up against lineups that just don't have these aggro decks whatsoever. You might run into a kind of balanced lineup that has an aggro deck, a mid-rangey deck, and a control deck that you can just ban out the aggro deck. You have a lot more options and choices in the matter when you're playing best of 3 instead of playing ladder. And so I think this was probably the APAC player's idea, was that if the only aggro deck you're going to play is Gwen, then you can just ban it. If you're going to be playing against loads and loads and loads of Seraphine, then you can take advantage of that aspect as well. Given that people up at that high echelon of play tend to say, hey, I just want to play control decks. And so a bit of opportunity for attack there. But the strategies aside, the differences that we're going to be seeing here are kind of interesting and unique. And so in terms of the ramp package, there's no Targon's Peak. That one has been completely removed. And then it's still playing the 3 Catalysts, the Aeons, 3 Faces of the old ones like we typically do. But the new additions here are going to be these 3 copies of Blue Sentinel along with the 2 copies of Eclipse Dragon. And so we're much more focused in on this unit package. We have to kind of control the board with our units, get a little bit interactive with the Blue Sentinel, and we can't just say, okay, I'm going to play Targon's Peak and then just drop a bunch of 12-cost cards on you turn after turn. You're going to have a little bit more finessing to get your Aurelion Soul on board. And that kind of ties into the champion selection as well with the addition of Braum. Typically, we played either Zoe or Tryndamere. Zoe what kind of did double duty in that she was a early game play that could come down and do a little bit of interactivity, but she was typically just there because she was an elusive. And so if you wanted to play Field of Rush, you could have the elusive Zoe come in for 10 damage. And that's also what ties into Tryndamere, with Tryndamere coming down with Overwhelm and being able to get the big spikes of damage in. And so Braum doesn't have those aspects to him. He is kind of interesting to bring down as a 10-10, but he doesn't help close out the games quickly. And so we're going to have to see how this kind of idea plays out as well, as to where we have a lot more kind of unit-based board control elements between the Braum, the Blue Sentinel, and then the Troll Scavenger, as opposed to playing those big, higher impact style of units. And so I'm interested to see how it goes. Again, I love this style of deck. Hopefully it goes great. Let's go ahead and jump on in. There's no pay-to-win price to be paid today. This deck is all premiumed out. We know what we're about in terms of the Targon's Peak, and so this stuff's good to go. And all right. Probably not what the Articuno player was expecting us to bring to battle, and so let's see what we can do. Typically, I wouldn't recommend holding on to something like Sunburst, but no, we shouldn't do it, right? He's going to be trying to pull off Anivia combos with the Sunburst. I initially thought that the first one would be pretty cool, since we get the silence kill on her, and then she can't do a lot of her shenanigans, but upon second thought, that doesn't sound that great. You'll just bring her back with a harrowing. So with this, I don't think we need to rush the blue sentinel onto the board. I'm just going to bank up the mana, and then on the following turn, I'll drop the catalyst. I just ultimately worry that if we start playing these boards to where we're dropping the blue sentinel, we're not going to have as much choice in terms of getting that ramp when we want it. All right, now the next fresh thing I'm ultimately worried about here is we're going to add in Braum as our first unit. I say there's about a 90% chance he just gets hit with Quietus. So let's see how that goes. What did I tell you? What have I got for you? But I'm not super interested in the Braum here. What I'm kind of hoping we get to do is we know that he's played the Draw a Champion card. We know that he has Anivia in his hand. If we're going to have the opportunity here, I'm hoping that we can start dropping things like She Who Wanders on the board. And so if we can drop the She Who Wanders, obliterate all the Anivias out of his deck, then that should leave us in a pretty decent space. All right, so now here's where we're looking to pull it off, right? If we get both the faces of the old ones on the board this turn, and we have a dead blue sentinel, we'll have the 10 mana we need next turn to drop She Who Wanders. And so I don't want to like immediately advertise that we have access to faces of the old ones, but that's the play we're looking to make here. So we've already ate the one Quietus. It should be fairly challenging for our opponent to kill this faces of the old ones here. He can't play a Black Spear. All of his non-Quietus removal spells won't kill the faces. And so if we get this double ramp into next turn, we should be in a pretty good spot. Look at that. We got the 10 mana crystals. Look out. Start wandering. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us lose the She Who Wanders. You can drop a Three Sisters Flash Freeze or something onto the She Who Wanders, make her die to her own Bale Site. But the big thing with this deck is, again, the Anivias. And if we're able to get her off of the board, we should be rolling and good to go. He didn't lose any cards out of his hand. Kind of interesting. No longer makes me feel good about these upcoming turns. Hey, just draw Feel the Rush, though. Can we drop it? It's like, if he has a Ruination, how bad is it? This feels like this is still going to be pretty bad. I guess the upside here is Aurelion Soul having Spell Shield. And we are just kind of threatening lethal here. And so if he wants to drop the Ruination, he needs a Vile Feast to also kill the Aurelion Soul. And so maybe we're okay in that sense. Oh boy, he has it. I was hoping we were going to be safe since he played the Vile Feast on the previous turn, but alright. I guess it is what it is. Let's see if we can't top deck again. Nope. Alright, Troll Scavenger, aggro time. Here it goes. Hate this card so much. I really don't like the design behind Troll Scavenger and Faces of the Old Ones. It could just be a remnant of Expedition me, but as you're kind of like thinking about deck design and Expedition, the big thing that you would run into, the big and typically most important concern was your mana curve. And if you were trying to activate cards like Troll Scavenger in Faces of the Old Ones, you had to just play a bunch of expensive 8-cost cards because Trundle was the only activator. And so to make these work, you had to play exceptionally bad decks, or you had to just high roll super, super high. And I hated everything about it. It was fucking terrible design, but, you know, kind of is what it is. All right, so with our Eclipse Dragon, just going for a the Nightfall, seeing if we can't spike like a good dragon and a good celestial. We didn't really spike any of it. Hitting 4 mana worth of cards is not what I was trying to pull off with our Eclipse Dragon, but you know, it is what it is. That's the way this game is just going. Sure. Okay. Not playing that one anymore. GG. I feel like we had a pretty good strategy. He had all the answers at all the right times in that one, and he's got to take it from there. We don't have great answers to that Anivia anymore. But I feel like our angle there was pretty good. We tied that Bale site together perfectly. Then we had the Aurelion Soul get sniped in fairly unspectacular fashion, and so kind of is what it is with that one. Now that we're up against the other ramp deck, the Trundlemere deck, I'm just going to look deep for some ramp cards. And so it's typically whoever can spend the most mana in these games is going to be the one that's successful. And so I'm going to just try and pick up the ramp where we can. All right, but same deal as before. I'm gonna slow play here into the Catalyst of the Aeons. Try and give us a bit of opportunity to use these blue Sentinels at a particular time. Did he ramp on that turn? He did not. Right? We both have 4 crystals. Maybe he did. Okay, there goes the thing. All right, let's go ahead and get our friends on board. We got the big cards we can look to start dropping off of these sentinels. I'm a little worried now that it's just going to be able to drop Tryndamere on us and we can't do anything. I was considering hanging on to that Sunburst so that if he drops Tryndamere, we have kind of a quick answer to him, but I think the ramp's probably just a little bit more important.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
Okay. All right, well, we're looking good if we can get some of these cards to pop off. We can add in Braum. I think he's safe. Probably just going to die to Quietus again. But as far as these other cards go, we don't have a real way to get the Sentinels off of board. And so this leaves us in a bind. But man, what a good time it is playing against Quietus. This is basically one of those scenarios that I was ultimately worried about whenever Quietus was printed, is that you're in this spot now to where you can't print a cheap, expensive champion, right? If you want to say, I don't know who would thematically be like a 5-cost 1/1 champion or something, some support champion. Say you want to print Sona or something, and she has tiny stats behind her DJ booth, and you just can't quite do that when you have cards like Quietus running around. And so not surprised whatsoever to see our Braum just get smoked for the 3 mana advantage 2 games in a row. All right, though. We can still feel the rush here on this upcoming turn. I'm looking to drop in a Catalyst. And that's where we can stop. Gonna drop yours as well. Seems like he was getting pretty well set up into to setting up this 12 mana turn with the 3 bank 2 turns ago, all the mana in Tryndamere, and then now having 12 behind. Maybe he doesn't have an interesting. I've got mine. Okay, and then it didn't pull the Aurelion Soul out of our hand. Still have access to this other one next turn if something cute rears its head. Alright, well. The Aurelion Soul at least seems safe for the day. Picking up a nice expensive 1-drop while we're at it. Welcome to the life of FTP Bust. But I think we need to be building to this the second Field of Rush next turn. We could look to just go ahead and attack into Tryndamere. Probably safe, but I do like that we have a bit of heal in our hand. And so we can at least currently survive an atrocity. But don't want to drop too much of it on board. And we're 1 mana short of the Celestial play. I think we still add the Charger, but let's see. She Who Wanders. Hi. Well, we're definitely not attacking anymore. I'll give you that. And then we'll be up to 10 mana next turn, so we could play the Ithith Stairs. And then play a Field of Rush next turn. I think this is okay. I'm not going to deal the damage to the units. There's not a ton of reason to do it. And then I want to be able to block Tryndamere with Aurelion Soul and prevent all the damage. I'm still fairly worried about getting boomed by a getting boomed by an atrocity. Here's the Sunburst. We can try and use it next turn. I think we're still on board with the Field of Rush, though. Getting a second Braum and a second Aurelion Soul for going into a flip turn next turn should leave us in a good spot. All right. KDA noises across the board. It's a bit of trouble here, though. Are we just... Oh, he's leaving his Tryndamere back. We could look to fall to 2. Is that the spot we have to be in? So we would die to Atrocity at this point if we don't block across the board. I think we just have to be kind of accepting of that. Like, what is realistically going to happen next turn to where we can win the game, right? If we just have the single Aurelion Soul on the board facing down 2 Tryndameres. I think we have to go for it this way. Again, good chance we're just dead to a... good chance we're dead to a Atrocity, but sometimes they only play 1 copy. And so if he's only playing 1 copy, we might have been able to get out of this. See if we can't hit big with our double Aurelion Souls generating Celestials and such. Moonglow, no. we've hit a 1 cost, a 2 cost, a 2 cost, and then a 1 cost Celestial. Pretty good. Pretty good. No, it's not bad, you know? Very, very effective. Very cost effective. Just the Tavern Keeper doesn't quite get us enough. Oh, this is back to heal 5. We're still dead at that point, though, right? The Tavern Keeper takes us to 5, and then the The star shaping gives us another 5.
Time for walkies, boy.
Alright, oh. Dead to the atrocity either way. Dealing 3 to our units, okay? Do we ever have the tools to get this Sky's Descend? I don't think so. Not the best. I think I'm leaning towards the Cosmic Inspiration. We may need the Destroyer, but I think we just have like enough blockers here to probably get through. All right, we've been inspired.
Nothing escapes my watch.
I mean, we probably don't even care about him regenerating on the She Who Wanders. Let's just take that out of the equation. And now we either have to Sunburst or play the Kindly Tavern Keeper. We can Sunburst down Tryndamere. That's the big value in having Sunburst. If that's going to be the angle, though, we only have like 2 blocks. I think we need to be in a spot to where we can block both the Tryndameres. We're still just going to be short.
To the stars. The cosmos will collapse eventually.
Let's see. This is just a terrible attack, right? He now gets to flip the Tryndameres while he takes down the health on our Aurelion Souls.
Look out for reavers.
That's a little better, though. That's a little better with the Sentry.
Light the signal fires. Warm hots and hot soup.
All right, maybe not dead. Moonglow, nice. And a Moonsilver. What a joke. What a joke for these cards. Our Aurelion Souls haven't generated a single thing that costs more than 2 mana. Fucking insane. Alright, though. We did pick up the Catalyst of the Aeons to maybe get out of this turn.
Let's talk about your death.
Alright. Another turn of not dead. Go us, go team, go squad. just gotta survive it a little bit harder. Whew. Okay. Oh, this is not Daybroken, is it? It doesn't matter. It's still enough to kill the unit. Okay. I thought we were gonna need the silence, but that's not quite the case. Alright, Aurelion Soul, do your thing. Do something good. Generate that thing that fills your hand full of Celestials, and we'll quit bitching about the day. But you guys, I swear I've been on like the hardest run of luck here recently, though. What do you like? I do get to a degree. Maybe we aren't like completely allowed to bitch about luck here, given that we drew the Catalyst of the Aeons to save us in that moment. But I mean, I think it's I'm at least due a little bit. You know, I feel like I should get a little bit of something, given that.
What do you have?
we've hit 6 cards now, or have we hit 7 cards with Aurelion Soul, and none of them we hit 2 Moon Silvers, 2 Spell Shields, 1 the Serpent, 1 the dog. Whew. Fucking crazy. All right. Well, the Golden Sister at least has has a cost of 6. Jeez. I think I got a lottery ticket sitting in my wallet. I'm probably due. Like, I don't know. Like, given the previous video and how fucking ridiculous that last gauntlet that I played was, and how we've run into things today, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I know I've got like a lottery ticket in my wallet, but I don't know if I should go buy a fresh one, you know? Just go get a new one. just just in case, you know? Just in case that one hasn't been like brewing up enough of the old luck situation. All right, let's brew up this luck situation a little bit. F your team, bro. All right. Insane. Insane. Go bust, though. Go team, go squad. Took down a victory. All right. Whew. I wonder if our friend from the APAC region just ran into this nonsense over and over again. He was channeling our feelings, channeling just how bad things could go. Bonkers. But we're still here, still making the best of it. Feeling good. What do we got now? The Gwen deck? Like I said, this matchup is abysmally terrible. So we'll keep trying, though. We'll keep trying. We'll hang on to the Scavenger and the Blue Sentinel. It's kind of awkward in this space to where... See, this is what I was talking about in terms of Expedition and not liking this stuff, right? You don't want to be keeping 8-cost cards, 9-cost cards, 10-cost cards in your opening hand because they just don't do anything. And Expedition, and likely in this game we're about to play, it's very realistic that you wouldn't go past turn 7 or turn 8. And so if you were holding on to an 8-cost card, it was very likely you weren't going to get to use it. And so what was kind of like weird to me was if you look at, say, Magic, and you print a card like Troll Scavenger, you add ways to the game that let you just like generate an expensive card. So that's what you would see out of Trundle, right? Trundle's a great example of what to do and what give you a way to activate the Troll Scavenger and the like. But after that, Riot just did nothing. Absolutely nothing. No other support for this 8-cost Behold stuff. It's just like, why? Why even bother if you're not going to support it? I don't know, man. I don't design the games. I just bitch about them, so... Take it how you will. Alright, but no reason to attack here. I don't want to risk our faces. I don't want our opponent just picking up these Halloweds off of the units. We'll do our best to just prevent damage from this point. Feel a little bit safer to block with our faces now, since we'll get a bonus next turn. But here we're going to be taking like 7 and then catalysting back a few points. Right, we do have Buried in the Ice. I think this is okay. We were at the spot to where we could just bank up to 3 mana and play Buried in the Ice next turn. I mean, maybe that was the better option. Because now we don't have a ton to do. We can still... I guess this is fine. We can add the Eclipse Dragon, and then next turn... we do still have the opportunities to play Buried in the Ice. We also have the opportunities to play Aurelion Soul, but I don't think that's quite where I stand. I don't know if I like this attack either. We're we're kind of far from getting lethals, and it kind of plays into his game plan a little bit to make those attacks. And so,
The night is young.
all right, well, let's prevent what we can. So we have to worry like a little bit about this board, given that he can play like a Ruined Reckoner or something and start attacking again. But I think if we get into our next turn and we're able to drop She Who Wanders, we might have just ended the game. Boop. Give him a little booparoo. He says, "Oh fuck." Kinetic Soldier's thought, his feeling right now. Oh fuck. Didn't take anything out of his hand though. Oh my gosh, are we gonna run into the Harrowing next turn? I guess at least we can deal with the Harrowing next turn, right? We have the Buried in the Ice to kind of counterspell it.
This is a chance for me to leave
Oh, Gwen was on the flip side as well. That's lame. Lame.
Monsters at the ready.
Interesting. Surprised he's giving her up. Like, you typically don't have ways to deal points of damage with this deck. This other one doesn't play Black Spear, so I mean, it feels like our Eclipse Dragon should be safe. All right, I feel much better now. He's going to drop the Harrowing, and then I'm going to emote. All right, so here comes the Harrowing comes in, and then get ready for it. Drop a little Heartbreaker. Uh-oh, he's got something fresh? Ravenous Flock. Okay. Okay. So, do we ever open attack in this world, right? We have this slightly awkward hand as to where... if I don't remember, like, if this deck plays Vengeance, right? The other problem with only attacking with She Who Wanders would be if he has a Vile Feast. I think we just have to risk it. We're in a sort of reasonable spot, even if he has a card here. All right, draw 2. Just boom him. GG. Oof. Got it. My thought there was that if that attack didn't go right, we could still potentially add Braum, and then maybe Braum would have been the way to go, right? Don't open, play the Kindly Tavern Keeper, heal, play Braum, and then if opponent wants to play a Vile Feast to go up to 11, we can still just hook the Spider out of combat and have 13 damage coming in. Probably the better way to go about it there. All right, now onto battle with Karma Master Yi. Gonna just mulligan for the ramp again. Don't really want these Blighted Ravines. I don't think we're ever going to get any usage out of them, but gotta look for that ramp. Have you all been listening to my advice and taking it to heart? Did you make any deviled eggs yet? I did another one this weekend. Not deviled eggs. That's coming up. That'll be in the next few days or so. But I've recommended in the past a few of these kind of appetizer-y kind of dish things. You know, you got to bring something. You want to bring something good, and you don't want to just show up and have to eat green bean casserole. That's always my problem. Green bean casserole out here in the Midwest is fucking tragedy. But one of the things I've recommended, if you need to bring kind of a classier appetizer, you can get the toothpicks, and then you make caprese skewers. So you've just got a toothpick, you put a tomato on it, you put some basil on it, you put some mozzarella cheese on it, You just skewer up a bunch of those. You can put some balsamic vinegar on there if you want. Call it a day. Everybody loves it. But I haven't dropped this one on you. I don't think it's real easy to do. The classy word for this kind of thing would just be a I'm gonna lose it. Meat and cheese tray. I forget the classy sounding word for just a tray of meats, but you can, if you go to your local grocery store, right, and you go to the deli, they're gonna have a section of just like cheeses that a section of cheeses that are all wrapped up. You know, it's not the ones that you put on your sandwiches. It's not in that section. You go to the classy section and you get the good ones. And if you just take that and cut it up, put it on a tray, bring it in, you're kind of good to go. People are going to get to enjoy your meats and cheeses. I feel like it was the highlight of the weekend for a lot of people where I brought it. they were having pizza and fruit and shit, and then I showed up with the cheese and meat tray. Everybody was like, "Oh shit, yeah, Bust bringing the good cheese." I got the one that surprised me. I got it as kind of a meme, you know, is they had a pumpkin spice flavor of cheese. And so I'm all for pumpkin. Pumpkin flavors are the best if you want to have a. I don't like coffee, so I don't get me a pumpkin spice latte from the old Starbies, but I really do like pumpkin breads and pumpkin muffins and pumpkin cookies and all the like of that. And then you get to tell all the basic girls that you got them the pumpkin spice flavors, and you know it was a hit. I think it went well, and it's in my current set of recommendations. All right, starting to lose it though. We're talking about a bunch of pumpkin spices and stuff. How do we want to handle this? The thing we have to worry about here against Old Karma Master Yi is going to be the likes of Deny coming out of our opposing deck. And so we could look to drop Buried in the Ice here. I don't think I really care about this damage, though. They should have a tough time actually coming in and killing us. The thing I'm looking to do here is just play Voices of the Old Ones. And so if he wants to pass it back to us, I think that's, you know, kind of a win for us. If he doesn't, it's not the end of the world to just go into the next turn with all this mana banked up. But Voices of the Old Ones coming in. Draw 0, standard. Just just standard for the day. So the fresh question will be, do we want to play She Who Wanders? That's going to eat our Braum. For the potential to just, you know, kill all of this stuff, or are we going to look to play any of these other cards? Like the Blighted Ravines aren't really doing anything anymore. We can look to play Buried in the Ice, but we don't have the It That Stares combos to go with it. It's a bit of a awkward space. I mean, I guess we can always just drop Aurelion's Soul. Gonna go with the Great Beyond. I don't have high expectations for this Aurelion Soul to survive. Right, it's a good chance he's gonna get hit with like Vile Feast Vengeance or Vile Feast Crumble, whatever these dumb decks are playing these days. And so, if we can just like tie up an additional like set of removal and then drop the Great Beyond in the next turn, we got some opportunities there. Okay. Then no Wuju style on the Braum. Sounds good to me. Wouldn't be opposed to getting the Braum flipped. Wouldn't be opposed. It'll look a little cleaner this upcoming turn, to where we can at least look to take heart the Braum and play the Great Beyond. Feel the rush, though. It's like, how bad is this if we try to feel the rush and it gets denied? We can block the Master Yi with the Poro. I don't care to lose it. I think it's relatively safe, but I'm gonna go for the buried in the ice first. Just try to get a bit of a bait on the deny, because again, I don't think we're gonna die here. And then next turn we can look to feel the rush. Bit of a bait, you know, the master of all baits, bringing it in. Good job, Bust. Good job. Way to let the world know how juvenile one can be. Alright, let's just take the extra point of damage. Put some points on the scattered pod. If we turn up to hit a 3 damage AoE, then we could potentially kill his whole board. Alright, so how y'all feel? Is he gonna have the second deny? Is he gonna deny us out of this one? We did the master. We brought the mastery forth. You couldn't do it any better than we just did it. Deep meditation, okay. Alright, we get our dudes. Doesn't feel, you know, ultimately super safe. The Aurelion Soul is hopefully okay. The Braum, very likely to just get hit with a homecoming or something, but yeah, she's gonna have all the goodies again. All the goodies. Okay. That's fine. That went better than expected. If we're still ending the turn with our units on board, I think that's okay. I have to see that a homecoming coming in would still be another problem. Right, if he wants to say homecoming the tail of the dragon to send Aurelion Soul back to our hand or something, it can be a bit of a struggle, but I at least feel a touch safe given that we have the Tavern Keeper, the Star Shaping, and the Catalyst to all potentially heal next turn.
You are a fledgling child flailing his arms.
Would be cool to get this Aurelion Soul flip, though. I give it that. Would we ever go for the She Who Wanders next turn? That feels ultimately pretty dangerous. Right? He like clearly doesn't have the deny in hand, or at least he didn't have the deny last turn. He could of course come up and draw it right now or something, but if we play the She Who Wanders and that fails, we're in such a bad spot. Can't really block this Master Yi right now, though. That kind of sucks. I give you that one, game. This is kind of a bad block spot right now.
My spirit is an unquenchable fire.
Now Karma.
Through me.
I mean, we can't just let her sit on the board, right? She's a bit more of a problem than this Master Yi is. We can just block Master Yi, but if he starts doubling spells, we're definitely going to lose. Well, you can't homecoming off of that anymore. you can gruesome theater off of the Tellstones, but no homecomings coming off of that one now. Okay.
Move with purpose. You are safe with Braum.
Looks like that's not lethal. We could have technically, say, like, tried to heal Aurelion's Soul and then block the Master Yi, but I really suspect that he's going to have, like, a Wuju style in hand or something. It feels like the Aurelion Soul would probably just come out and die. And what's he even do? I immediately strike the weakest enemy when he attacks, right? Alright, big spell, what you got for us? That's what we're looking for, right? That's how you get all the units out of here. Get the dum-dums off of the board, please, and thank you. Probably drop a laser beam on that one. Probably drop a laser beam on that one, my friend. Probably still can't win the game, but bring some of that heat. Ah, there it is. There it is. Nice. Nice. GG, my dude.
Been wonderful, as have I.
All right, so wasn't really expecting the games to go this long. I did not have in my my thoughts and plans for the day to play against all of the variety of Shadow Isles control decks, and so we'll get one more game in. Hopefully, you've been enjoying these, and then we'll see what we can do with this this last game here against the Varus Pantheon. Okay, and so. In terms of the cards we want to keep here, I think we still just want to come out and dig for the ramp. This is a spot to where, like, I'm kind of interested in Sunburst, but like these decks do have the possibilities to pick up a lot of spell shields, and so I think we should probably just stick to this plan of going for the ramp, because we'd have a handful of things like Flash Freeze, but we aren't playing any Three Sisters, right? We are not playing. Harsh Winds. We don't have like just any of those big like flash freeze targetable kind of things, and it gives me a bit of worry that that they'll just easily have a timely like Yulia or a Varus spell shield thing, the whatever the cultist spell shield is called, and so we'll just let it kind of ride. That we'll probably not be able to take down his big plays. Could look to get an attack here, but we don't have any good ramp for the next turn, right? And so if we drop our unit and then he had a Pale Cascade, we would be hurting a little bit. It's tough to time these Blue Sentinels to do exactly what you want.
Anyone seen any sheep around here? I lost mine.
So it kind of felt like the last turn, not necessarily a Pale Cascade, right? It's not like he was attacking us. Now I feel like maybe he doesn't have it, given that it's a fairly safe attack with the Wandering Shepherd. Maybe these are okay, though. I don't know. I'm struggling to decide what we want to like build up this Blue Sentinel into. In terms of what we can come in and like try to ramp to, because it's like we're not going to ramp to Aurelion Soul with these, right? These aren't going to stick around on the board until turn 7, and so without that opportunity, kind of awkward. Did have a Pale Cascade. Uh-oh. He's bringing the face palms. 5 Jacks is not happy that his 3/3 unit died. A little whoopsies, I guess. This is a little touch of a whoopsies.
Both sun and moon pale in comparison to
Welcome
you.
to the tipsy hour.
All right, my dude, what you got for us? I think we just take the 4 hit from Varus and block the Saga Seeker.
Let's talk about your dad.
And we can still build up to trying to get this Blighted Ravine. The way that this looks like it would sequence is these aren't going to die on our next turn, and then we can kill them off on opponent's next turn with the Blighted Ravine. Have to see where that gets us. So then as we come back to our next turn, we should have 10 mana. And we do still have access to this Buried in the Ice, and so the way I guess we're kind of looking to have this happen is to next turn Buried in the Ice, 2 turns from now, drop Aurelion's Soul.
Our revenge comes first, then your petty war.
Gonna heal this Saga Seeker up to 3 health. I feel you. Because I don't want to lose my friend today. Interesting, and he lost out on a Varus Flash Freeze, which can be quite strong against us if you're looking to shut down Aurelion's Soul. To get the Spell Shield pop and then the Flash Freeze afterwards, so. Glad to see that stuff go.
A soldier stands among us. We are all soldiers this day.
Alright, he's probably really close to flipping, right? He didn't drop him on the flip, so we could maybe get around a Spell Shield here, right? I don't know if it would be better or worse if we knew about a Spell Shield before the Aurelion Soul coming down, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him play a spell right now to try and flip the Pantheon, and then maybe spike a Spell Shield. And then the kind of bonus thing that he gets out of this play is he can follow up on our turn with a second Pantheon and then have 2 of them on the board, right? As the one copy is locked in the ice, if he gets a second one down, then the 2 turns from now he'll be able to have them all.
We cry out, no more gods, no more demons.
Alright, what you got, dude? Looks like he hit it. Quick Attack, Lifesteal, Challenger, Spell Shield, Fury. Just... it's challenging to hit a more perfect collection of abilities. Quick Attack, Challenge, Spell Shield, and Lifesteal. Alright. I guess so. I guess so.
They will know.
He's going to realistically be big enough next turn to take down our Aurelion Soul. Right, if he has a Pale Cascade, he's going to have a 10-11 Pantheon. He lost a couple points of health here, but he does have the potential for gigantic Pantheons next turn. Let's pick up this Supernova. Like, I don't think we're going to get the time to do it, but it's one of our few answers to these giant Pantheons. This is just so bad, though. It's like, we have to attack and just kind of hope it goes well. Because we don't have enough next turn to deal with everything with Flash Freeze. And so maybe he does something dumb, maybe he doesn't have it. He had the opportunity here to gem up the Pantheon before he played Varus, and he didn't take it. And so, you know, it kind of is what it is when you see a lot of these situations. But I think we're to that point of the game to where we just have to have something go right. And so, I mean, as right as this can go is we deal 10. He just doesn't care, and then he goes into the next turn and has all these units on board and gets to gain all that health back with the Pantheon. You know, this is a pretty dire situation for us, but it's like we're just going to come out here and do some dumb shit. Okay. Oof, that was tough. I don't know if we would have gotten out of that had we hit not him had him hit perfect on the Aurelion Soul, but that was going to be tough. But nonetheless, that's not a matchup we were really tuned for. Not surprised that we ran into some troubles and got beat up on a little bit there. But nonetheless, again, I'm always happy to come in and get to play these big ramp decks. I really like them. I think they're great. I love a lot that goes into these. I think that, at least in the terms of Magic, ramp is always a deck that I feel like it's always been kind of safe, given that there's so much high risk, high reward attached to it, right? You've had occasional formats to where, like Primeval Titan combo decks, kind of ran to the races. They had to be dealt with, but in general, the ramp decks have always been fairly well in check, given that they're so high risk, high reward. Given that you have a lot of these draws to where you pick up all your ramp cards and nothing to ramp into, or you mulligan into your expensive stuff but no ramp, or you just don't hit that kind of like perfect collection of plays to make things go. And that's why to me it was a little bit unfortunate that Riot decided to nerf the Targon's Peak. It completely blew my mind that the reasoning to nerf Targon's Peak was that it added too much RNG to the game immediately before they printed Seraphine and Fan Club President. But I'm just a commentator. I'm not a game dev. I don't know. Maybe it is too much ramp to pick a random card in each player's turn. It's too much RNG to pick a random card in each player's hand each turn. But it's not too much RNG to generate 17 cards across the course of a game. And so that's not me. Who am I to say? I could be wrong in that one, and apparently I am. But nonetheless, for the terms of this deck, is it a good ladder grinder? No, this isn't a good ladder grinding deck. We did manage to hit Masters with Targon's Peak before it got nerfed, and so it's certainly something that I feel like now that the LP changes have hit and it's easier to hit Masters these days, I feel like you could probably do it. I feel like we could probably make a new account and take this deck to Masters if that's what it really amounted to. But is it going to be like the smoothest grind? Is it going to be the easiest grind? Is it going to be the fastest grind? None of those are going to be true. This is far and away now just kind of relegated to being a best of 3 deck and trying to set up situations to where you know that you're going to be, say, playing against a lot of Seraphine and then try and take her down. Just hope that Seraphine's not the Ezreal version. You absolutely cannot beat Ezreal with this deck. But, if you are able to kind of surgically cut your way into a proper meta, then these decks probably still have a place. We did see a lot of Tryndamere-based ramp as a deck to take to take to the World's qualifiers. That's because it tends to be a much better control decky kind of thing in terms of taking down aggro decks. But again, these decks they have a place. They turn up on occasion, and they can still be relevant. And so, let's get those Quietuses on some more Braums, right? Nothing wrong with that. Good good usage of mana across the board. But nonetheless, I had fun with this one. I hope you had fun too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.